Thank you for allowing me to speak. How would you like to swim in a pool that is green? How would you like to go into a bathroom where the floors are dangerously slippery? How would you like to see porta potties because there is no running water? How would you like to go to an annual membership meeting only to find the door locked with no meeting, no election, and no board of directors? Then how would you like to be told that there's no money to correct these public safety violations? Wouldn't you want to know where your membership money went, which was entrusted to the board? Well, this happened to us. After seeing my pool go in the hell in a handbasket, I started to ask questions, and what I learned was disturbing. I learned that serious bylaws and state laws were being broken. So we started pursuing remedies under the criminal code. That's when RPD detectives told me that I must investigate the crime because RPD does not possess qualified detectives. So I did. Then, when I tried to file a police report and turn in the evidence that I spent 8 months collecting, I was denied. RPD said that embezzlement is a civil matter, despite what the Virginia law says. This seems to be a pervasive theme in America now, claiming that something is a civil matter. When Americans have their cars and houses stolen by degenerates, police claim that it's a civil matter. And when citizens go to RPD with evidence to report a crime of embezzlement, they are turned away and told that it's a civil matter. Despite being jerked around, I did manage to get a police report and was told that they will be investigating the case to the fullest, only to learn later that the investigation is being sandbagged with a bogus search warrant that was addressed to the wrong bank, expired, unsigned, supposedly executed at the very same second that it was filed with the clerk. Meanwhile, unelected directors continue to be complicit in operating a swimming pool when hundreds of thousands of dollars have gone missing with little to no explanation. When I confronted the chief of police about the investigation, he said he needs more young men in the police academy. Do you learn how to be a forensic accountant in the academy? Do the men learn how to read spreadsheets when they're doing push-ups? How does that work? How can we get a police force
You have 30 seconds.
who possesses the qualifications to investigate embezzlement? Listen, there might come a time when you will need the police to investigate a crime. Who will be there? Will you be turned away and told that the crime which was perpetrated against you is simply a civil matter? Finally, I'd like to thank Ms. Trammell and Mr. Bishop for your support. And Kristen, you mentioned before that you're not a member of Granite, but I hope to get your support on this matter, being that it's in your district. There are over 1,000 members that go to Granite.
Ma'am, that's your time.
Excuse me.
Thank you.
Excuse me. She's not here to answer what you just.
That's okay.
But that's okay. Where do you live? Where do you live?
We live. The Granite Pool is in Kristen Nye's district.
I'm sorry. Where?
In Kristen Nye's district.
Okay, I want to talk to you more about this, and we have to understand we're down over 160 some police officers and officers that used to do all this investigating and things like that. Ever since 2020, our police officers have had their hands tied with what they can do and what they can't do. And when you have an officer that tries to go and do what he or she was called to do when they get the 911 calls, it's kind of like they end up being the bad person.
Yeah.
And then they go to court and whatever, and then some of the judges, not all of them, but some of them will side with the criminal and not listen to everything that the officer has to say. And then the officer, can you imagine how disgusted they get and fed up that they get? And they tell me all the time, Reva, you've got us collective bargaining, you've got us more money, but you know what? We don't feel the love anymore. Where is the love in the city for the men and the women and our police chief in this police department? And I understand. I know you're upset. I know I can relate to what some of the things you're saying, but I didn't blame the officer because when I had to call them to a situation that happened at my home, I didn't do it. My neighbor did. And I didn't blame the officer because it was not his or her fault that they couldn't do what I had to go do. But I want to definitely talk to you again. You call me. My number